Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Lobb and I'm your student English teacher for pre-IB 9 or pre-IB 10. So I'm going to share a little bit about the course. This is our classroom. Give you a sense of what it looks like since you haven't been able to come in. But I wanted to give you an introduction to the class. I'm not going to go into specific readings at this time because those are to be determined. There are a lot of things that are to be determined because this year, more than prior years, I'm really trying to be responsive based on what the students have learned in the past year or so. And so we're kind of all over the board, and so we're figuring it out. However, I'm going to go over some things that are going to stay consistently the same with both classes as far as my expectations go. So I'm going to share my screen with you and go over some things, but please feel free to contact me if you have more specific questions. Also, you can look at the syllabus and all the materials on Schoology to get a better sense of what we're doing on a daily basis in the class. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. So again, this is pre-IB English 9 and pre-IB English 10. And here's my email. I also can be reached on my apps account. And just so you know, I'm recording this during my planning period, and so kind of try to ignore any background noise that you notice. So I first like to share a little bit about my philosophy and sort of how I approach every year and how I look at the individual needs of students. I do want to share, I'm a mother. I have a young son, he's 8 years old, going into 3rd grade. So I feel also some of the kind of expectations of, my student getting caught up and, are they behind, and those kinds of feelings. But I want to remind myself too to really look at the individual progress. So this is a picture that my son drew when he was 6. It was during the first part of 1st grade, and his name is Leo. So he drew this picture of himself, and while I love it, it wasn't quite as detailed, or it wasn't really making a lot of sense for me. Like the legs and body part were so kind of one, I couldn't figure out what was happening, right? And then I see other students who they're drawing like detailed fingers that are attached like this, and how they're drawing the hair. And so my natural instinct was like, whoa, is he not doing what he's supposed to do? But then I remembered what he did 1 year prior. This was his picture he drew of himself when he was 5, when he first started kindergarten. And I thought, wow, look at the growth. That's pretty amazing. And I realized like students all have their strengths and they all have their needs. But what we're looking at is, regardless of that, have they made growth? And that's really what I want to see and what I stress throughout the year. So this is who I am and what I believe. I am an experienced teacher. This is my 5th year at Inglemoor, but prior to that, I taught in another IB school, Mount Rainier High School, down by the airport. And so I've had much experience, a lot of experience teaching IB. And also teaching 9th and 10th graders. So I expect that everyone can be successful, that everyone tries to do their best. When you make a mistake, which you should, you'll learn from them and move forward. We'll work with everyone in a way that promotes exploration and risk-taking, and we'll encourage and support each other. And I'm committed to creating a safe learning environment. I'm committed to the process of learning, not just a final product, but people actually engaging along the way in the process, knowing students well and supporting their strengths and needs, and encouraging students' growth and pushing their continued progress. What do students learn in these classes? I use the Common Core state standards for both 9th and 10th grades In some middle years program for 9th and 10th, middle years program is a part of IB that starts in middle school and goes through 10th grade. Inglemoor is not an MYP school, but my school that I taught at prior to Inglemoor, Mount Rainier High School, was an MYP school. And so I am very familiar with what IB would kind of stresses as far as skills that they believe students need to be successful as they go on. So even if your student is like, I don't want to do IB in 11th grade, that's fine too. They're just going to be prepared as readers, writers, speakers, listeners, and thinkers for whatever they choose in 11th grade. So the units of study are actually pretty long because they have reading and writing components in them, and sometimes even speaking components in them. So those are things to consider. But I do add in, I will actually assess things mid-unit, depending on what we start with, which is usually the reading component. So grading in my class might be a little different than what you see in other classes because I use standards-based grading. So what I do a lot of is formatively assess students, where I see on a daily basis if students seem to be on track. I'll give them verbal feedback. Sometimes I'll give them written feedback to let them know how they're doing. It also helps me make decisions about what I need to teach. Do I need to stress a certain concept or idea? Are students needing to move on from something? So it gives me a lot of information. The summative assessment, however, is usually at the end of the unit, and that's where they'll get scores that go into the grade book. So summative shows me what they actually learned, if they learned the skills or outcomes that were on the rubric. So I use the 8-point standards-based grading scale. I share rubrics at the start of each assignment or unit, and we have both for my 9th and 10th grade classes, they have the rubric, which explains how they're being assessed for our current unit. Those are also in Schoology, so you can see them there. So for the purpose of reporting grades, here's the following equivalences. I don't need to read all of these, but you can see that these are not points, right? It's more of like, if you have a 7, 8, you're in the excellent knowledge range on that particular outcome. That means you showed some consistency along the way. So if you're a 7, it's 93%, and 8 is 100%. 5 to 6 is substantial knowledge, and here are the corresponding percentages. 3 to 4, developing and adequate. 1 to 2 means limited, which means perhaps you're still not quite meeting this, you wouldn't be meeting the standard yet, but you've showed me some progress along the way. A 0 means that, unfortunately, a student did not show me any evidence of an outcome. We are enforcing a 50% floor. So this, again, allows students to be able to rebound if they are in a situation where maybe they got off track for a while. All of this grading information is on the syllabus. I do allow students to reassess and turn in late work. If they are reassessing on a summative assessment or turning it in late, they can still earn an A, but it would be a 7. The reason I don't allow 8s is only because if a student in class earns a 7 or 8 on an outcome, I don't let them reassess because that's an A. And I already have 160 some students, and I can't reassess everybody to get 100%. 93 is an A. And so that's why reassessment, the highest you can get is a 7, but that's still an A, all right? So there is a reassessment form, which I will share with the students once we do have a summative assessment. They need to submit it within 2 weeks of receiving their work back. Typically what it will look like is you're not having to redo an entire summative piece, but perhaps if we did a piece of writing and there was an outcome that they scored below a 7 that they wanted to reassess, then they would go in and revise that piece of writing to make sure they show me that they can meet that standard at a certain level. If it's the last week of a grading period and I'm trying to grade current assessments, I cannot also grade reassessments. So I do put a limit there. If somebody is turning in something late, like they have not turned it in yet, after the deadline, then they need to schedule a conference with me where we can make a plan for making sure that we can hand in future work by the deadline. It's better for them really too, to try not to juggle current work with past work. And I will contact home if somebody's struggling with things consistently with getting things in on time. So perhaps we could create some sort of plan to help them out. I do allow a lot of time in class to work on things. Most students shouldn't have much homework, if at all, unless they're not using their class time. But I'm really encouraging students to get things done in class, use their class time, checking in with them to make sure that happens. As far as helping students, I am available to work with students by appointment before school, during lunch, or during study time at the end of block periods. A student can initiate help, and I'll also assign appointments as needed. Sometimes I might just want to check in because I'm not sure how a student is doing. Sometimes that might be a small group focused lesson with a small group of people who are still needing to work on a certain skill, or help with understanding, or if there's other issues that arise. What can you do? Obviously, some of the things on here is just ask them what they did in class, ask to see their learning, or in Schoology, or you can check it yourself. Ask what they're reading or what they're working on, like a work in progress, or ask to see it. If you're getting a lot of nothing as your responses, then feel free to email me, because that's not the case. You can check grades online, but please don't freak out or get worried if there hasn't been anything posted in a while, because with standards-based grading, it's going to look different. You won't see as many grades and as frequent. However, I will enter some things here shortly just to get a sense of, is my student turning things in? And so I can see if they're at least having some good habits. Encourage reassessment if necessary. So if somebody has a grade they're not pleased with, encourage them to reassess, because they have that opportunity. You can also check on technology if you need to, if there's any needs or something that you're struggling with. Tech support at our school is Julius Brousseau, and here is her email. So please feel free to email me with any unanswered questions or concerns, or you can ask your student. And I'm really looking forward to this year learning with your students, being back in person. It's more energizing and fun. However, I know there's also concerns, and I'm more than aware of those. So please just let me know and be in touch. And I'm pretty responsive on email. So that is a great way to get a hold of me. I hope we have a great year learning together, and enjoy your evening.